What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Conor McGregor trashing Beneil Dariush and Marvin Vettori responding back. With Conor McGregor set to return to the octagon later this year, it's unclear who he'll be fighting against. By the time he steps back into the cage, it'll likely have been at least a year since he suffered a broken leg injury against Dustin Poirier in July of last year. But it seems like he's not a fan of lightweight contender Beneil Dariush, whose name has been linked with either a #1 contender fight or a shot at the lightweight title. McGregor, in an unprovoked verbal jab, threw dirt on Dariush's name when he posted a tweet that he's since deleted. This is what he stated: "Beneil Dariush is the biggest nobody in the company." McGregor doesn't really like to keep a lot of tweets up, so of course he deleted it. But not before middleweight contender Marvin Vettori saw it and clapped back at McGregor, firing off this tweet: "What a at Notorious MMA, you couldn't last 2 minutes with Beneil, and that's just a fact. You're a scumbag. I hope to see you soon." Dariush is on a 7-fight winning streak and has looked good throughout. He was set to take on Islam Makhachev for the #1 contendership earlier this year, but an injury forced him out of that bout. The fight was set to be rebooked later this year, but with Charles Oliveira vacating his title for missing weight at UFC 274 and earning a #1 contender fight, it's unclear what the promotion will do with either Dariush or Makhachev. But what do you think about McGregor's tweet here? And what about Vettori's response? Dominick Cruz says UFC is hooking up TJ Dillashaw with a title shot. Dominick Cruz is no stranger in taking a long time away from the cage and then coming back for a title shot. He had to vacate his bantamweight title back in 2012 after he tore his ACL. He came back 2 years later to beat Takeya Mizugaki, but tore his ACL again in his other knee. Upon his return in 2016, he took on TJ Dillashaw immediately for the bantamweight title and won. Now, Dillashaw is getting tapped to take on newly crowned undisputed bantamweight champion Aljamain Sterling. The Funkmaster called out Dillashaw after he won a split decision over Peter Yan, and it wasn't that long after that UFC President Dana White stated he was in favor of setting this fight up. Dillashaw was popped for PEDs a few years ago by USADA after losing his title to Henry Cejudo. He was out for 2 whole years until he returned to the octagon against Corey Sandhagen last July, and he won that fight by a split decision. Cruz is now weighing in on the fact that Dillashaw is getting a title fight after winning 1 fight upon his return to the cage. While Dom does believe that other guys also deserve a shot, he also states that he understands the situation and that there is precedent for this. This is what he stated to Ariel Helwani about it.
Still 1 fight. I mean, Pedro Munoz and all these other people that are in the division that have just been competing with, it's crazy. But I kind of get it because when I was laid off for so long with my knee injuries, I came back, fought Mizugaki, blew my knee out again, and then came back and got a title shot. But I hadn't lost and I hadn't gotten in trouble for anything. I just blew my knees out. So it was a little different and I got my shot that way.
Cruz goes on to talk about how this whole thing proves the UFC is really only after storylines and narratives. And Dillashaw's storyline is pretty intriguing and would likely make the fans view TJ as a villain, which is probably what the UFC wants anyway. What do you think about Cruz's take here? Combate Global looking for commentator, Joe Rogan unlikely to do it. The co-creator of the UFC, Hunter McLaren, is on the hunt for a new commentator for his Combate Global promotion. The 65-year-old businessman and promoter founded Combate Global in the USA to cater to the Hispanic audience, and he's looking for an English-language MMA commentator to lead the English-language broadcasts of their shows. McLaren was the first guy to hire Joe Rogan all those years ago in the early going of the UFC, pre-Dana White. Eventually, the UFC and McLaren went their separate ways, but now that he's back in the fight business and looking to hire a commentator, many people on social media are throwing Rogan's name in the mix, saying he should contact him to do it. But McLaren, in a tweet, says that's not likely to take place. This is what he said: "Thanks for the DMs, but Joe Rogan can't or won't do it. Yes, I gave him his shot, but he's one of the biggest commentators on the planet. I'm still looking for the right fit. Must know and love MMA. Must be talented and entertaining to watch. Who do you think would be a great commentator?" Jon Jones is now over the 260-pound mark when he's known for dominating at 205 pounds. That's over 55 pounds that he's put on since his hiatus. If you don't want to end up gaining nearly 60 pounds like Jon Jones, then today's sponsor, Noom, is perfect for you. Like many of us who can't control our eating habits, I've been trying different things myself, like not going to the Burger King down the street every night for a burger, or not eating the whole box of pizza in one night. It seems impossible, but I've done it before and I can do it again, and this time it's thanks to Noom. Noom is helping me with my weight loss journey by tracking my calories so I don't go over my daily intake. They give me healthy recipe ideas for my favorite foods, and they even provide me with my own weight loss coach who keeps me on track every day. Join me on the weight loss journey and sign up today at Noom.com. Don't forget to take a second to hit that like button and subscribe to the MMA Zone to stay up to date on all the latest fight news. Luke Rockhold believes something's up with Paulo Costa's fight delays. Ever since Luke Rockhold signed a bout agreement to take on Paulo Costa, he's been met with nothing but frustration. The former middleweight champion called out Costa earlier this year, saying he knows he's someone he can beat up to put him back inside the top 15 rankings, possibly even in the top 10. Rockhold says he's looking to get back in the saddle and make a run for the title. All this after nearly 2 years off. In order to do that, he has to put away some top competition. Paulo Costa, in his mind, fits the bill. A former title challenger with a name, a tied ranked number 4 in the division. Rockhold states that he believes Costa has no grappling skills, and he can take full advantage of that with his great top game wrestling. But this fight was supposed to take place on July 3rd. Then it was pushed to July 30th for UFC 277. And now, with the UFC confirming this fight for August 20th for UFC 278, Rockhold is questioning whether that fight will get delayed again. This is what he said in a recent interview with Submission Radio about it.
It's been a headache and a process. Kid doesn't make it easy. He's just, I don't know what he's doing behind the scenes, getting veneers or getting fucking his whole face redone, getting a new nose. What's next? I don't know. But everything, I think he's in all this cosmetic work probably or something. I think what's going on, but because he just keeps delaying.
The UFC 277 show on August 20th is rumored to take place in Salt Lake City, Utah, and will be the spot for this fight. The show doesn't have a headliner yet, so some are speculating that this fight might be just enough to be a co-main event, but it remains to be seen. What do you think about Costa constantly delaying his fight against Rockhold at middleweight? Do you think something more is going on?
Originally, Laval police reporting that at around 2 o'clock in the morning, they received a 911 call in this quiet area reporting an alleged home invasion. And this was reported by a man and a woman who lived on the street. Now, they seek shelter in another house nearby. But when police arrived later on in the morning, well, they found the body of a 20-year-old inside the house, lifeless. And that is what is changing now. Now, speaking to Sûreté du Québec police, they say that one of the 3 individuals has links to organized crime, and they also add that they do not know the relationship between the 3 individuals in this story. They also say that they are continuing to look into this on what exactly happened, as that is still not known. Now, they're speaking with residents in the area. There is a command post that has been set up. The 2 individuals, the man and the woman, actually are in police custody this morning, as they will be undergoing questioning by police and possibly charges, although they have not been laid any as of yet. But that could change throughout the day, as this is a continuing developing story.
Terrance McKinney goes for Charles Oliveira over Khabib Nurmagomedov. The debate rages on as fighters and fans weigh in on the comparisons between Charles Oliveira and former lightweight champion Khabib Nurmagomedov. Many believe this debate is happening too soon, but Oliveira is a veteran of 33 fights, 4 more than Khabib. Both were lightweight champions. But while Khabib had 3 successful title defenses, Oliveira only had 1 on account of him being stripped of his belt in his second title defense due to missing weight by half a pound prior to the UFC 274 main event earlier this month. Still, that hasn't stopped people from asking fighters what they think. And in the latest reaction, we have Terrance McKinney. McKinney fights in the lightweight division and has beaten some very tough fighters. He's gearing up to take on Eric Gonzalez on August 6th. For McKinney, he believes that Oliveira is the clear winner. This is what he stated in a recent interview with Mike Heck about it.
I think Charles is better in my opinion. He throws hands. He's been finishing everyone, like not just being on the fight win streak, like he's finishing people. A lot of Khabib's fights for decisions. He didn't really start finishing people till the end.
What do you think? Do you agree with McKinney here, or feel that Oliveira has more to do to surpass Khabib? Thanks so much for joining us today. What do you make of what's going on in the fight world? Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all the latest news from the MMA Zone. See you next time.